to invite everyone to turn to page 120 for the candle lighting, and to welcome our friends on Facebook and YouTube, who I forgot to stream to before, and to invite Parker and his mom Beatrice to honor us by lighting the Shabbat candles.
Hear my prayer, I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu b'hafet ner shal Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu b'hafet ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who followed us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Sorry, I wasn't in the kitchen.
Let us light these lights and sing away to you. Let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and sing away to you.
Yeah, I will.
Let us say Amen.
We now turn to page 125. As we bring in Shabbat and think about the many themes that Shabbat gives us of separating today from every other day of the week. When we describe something as holy, as kadosh, it comes from the Hebrew root, kuf daled shin, which means to set aside, to mark as distinct and unique. And we mark this next day as unique. And
Mitchell today to remember the meatloaf.
You're muted. And we
Anti-vax.
the past week.
You might be an anti-vax or two. So if you are still unvaccinated, LOL.
Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it?
I started commiserating about the man Benny.
The unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, and the heaviness of boredom?
Answer you.
On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Together, help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time, contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat, abide. We now turn to page 138 for L'Chadadi. And at the last verse, we'll ask you to stand and turn and face the door to greet the Sabbath bride.
Lechadotim, lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, lekavena, lechadotim, lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, lekavena, shamor v'zachor, b'nivur echad, ishmiyaru, el ha'miuchad, Adonai echad, Shmo echad, Shemo tiferet, b'nita hila, lechadotim, lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, lekavena, lechadotim, lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, lekavena, shamor v'zachor, Hiftareri, Himore, Uri, Shirdaveri, Himoranai, Laimida, Lechadotim, Lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, Yekavena, Lechadotim, Lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, Yekavena. Now we rise to greet the seventh blood. Going the shalom, ateret bala, bam simcha, utzah, chok emunei, am segula, boi kala, boi kala. We're back together. The Adodi, the Kratkala, b'nei Shabbat, the Kavana, the Adodi, the Kratkala, b'nei Shabbat, the Kavana, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la.
We turn to page 146 and we remain standing until I tell you to sit down. I didn't tell anybody to sit down.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam Amen.
We turn to page 148 as we remain standing for Roll into Dark, Mariv Arabi.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Boream v'layla, golden ormivne kosher, golden ormivne kosher, v'kosher mifeyo. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
Page 150, Ahavat Olam. A prayer about God's love of the world, about God's love of our people, Israel.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Ahavat Torah u'mitzvot, u'kim u'mishpatim, otanu l'madata. Alkein Adonai Eloheinu, v'shobeinu v'kumeinu, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו, ובהם נהיה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Together in English on page 152. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Please be seated as we turn to page 154 and we continue with the Ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'kol levavcha v'kol nafshecha v'kol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavta hayom al levavecha v'shinanta levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uvlektecha v'aderech v'shavkacha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uvtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, הייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Adonai Elohechem Emet. On page 157. The Torah portion this week is Yitro, and in it is the beginning of Revelation. And this poem, this reading, which is actually put in our service right before the crossing of the Red Sea, the moment of redemption, the exiting of Egypt through God's might, right before the Michamocha, the prayer that marks that, is so fitting and so beautiful. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, and that there is a better place, a promised land, and that the winding way to get to that promise passes through the wilderness, and that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Michamocha 158.
Michamocha, 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 Ba'elim Adonai. Michamocha, 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 Nedar HaKodesh, Yorah Tehilot, Oseh Peleh, Yorah Tehilot, Oseh Peleh. Michamocha, 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 Ba'elim Adonai. Malchutecha rovanecha, Bokeyam lifnei Moshe, Ze'elionu ve'ameru, Adonai Mikamoka, Mikamoka, Bairi, Adonai.
We turn to page 161. And 162. No, 161. I was right. I'm sorry. 160. Together, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. We turn now to Vishamru, page 162.
Veshamru, B'nai Yisrael, et HaShabbat, la'asod et HaShabbat, לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We turn to page 166 for Amidah, our standing prayer in the middle of the service, which is this whole series is considered the pinnacle of the service and the part that replaced sacrifice. So we begin by praising our ancestors, then the Giverot, which praises God's might, then the Kedusha, which praises God's holiness. Then we have another special prayer for Shabbat. And once we've done all that, then we offer thanksgiving, and then we start petitioning. Can these prayers that we pray be accepted? And then we pray for peace. So I invite you to rise for the Amidah.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Ha'adonai, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Tikonei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות באימהות, ומביא גאולה לבניהם, למען שמו ואהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מחמם חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומק נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסירים, ומקיים אמונתו, Micha mocha ba'al gibrot, umido melech, melech memid umefayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata l'hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol.
Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh v'kadoshim v'chol yom yehallelujah selah. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated as we turn to page 173. There's so much work to be done in this world, and this prayer reminds us of that on Shabbat. Disturb us, Adonai, ruffle us from our complacency, make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans. Shock us, Adonai, deny us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality. Together, disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabbat. Page 175, let's say.
Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu ve'amcha Yisrael. Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu ve'amcha Yisrael. Tefilatan be'ahava tikaber. Tefilatan be'ahava tikaber. Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu ve'amcha Yisrael. Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu ve'amcha Yisrael. Israel, America. Israel, America. Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu ve'amcha Yisrael. Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu ve'amcha Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai
שאותך לבדך ואירה We give thanks on page 177. And as always, I invite our friends who are joining us on Zoom to put something you're thankful for into the chat to help all of us feel that inspiration. Page 177, the second prayer. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us? You made us a little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over all your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. Wow, how majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha l'chana'eh lehodot. And together we pray for peace. So page 178. Shalom, 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 Israel, Tassim le'olam, shalom, 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 Am Israel, Tassim le'olam, ki atahu melech adon, v'chol hashalom, ki atahu melech adon, v'chol hashalom. Shalom, 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 Rav. Israel, Tassim le'olam, shalom, 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 Rav. Israel, Tassim le'olam, ketov be'yeh ba'levarech et Israel, b'chol עת ובכל שעה Ishlomecha. Shalom, 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 Rav. Israel, Tassim le'olam, shalom, 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 Rav. Israel, Amcha, Tassim le'olam, le'olam, le'olam. What a beautiful prayer for peace. Thank you, Cantor. And as we enter into our silent prayer, I'd like to guide you in a meditation to connect us to our Torah portion, our Parsha. So in this week's Parsha, the Torah is about be revealed, and there's thunder and lightning on Mount Sinai. And I think about the 600,000 people who stood there and how present I hope they felt. I hope they were aware of everything in their surroundings, that they truly could hear that not a bird chirped, that they could see the lightning, they could feel and hear the thunder. So what I'd like us to do to recapture a little bit of that spirit of revelation is to find that ability to be present tonight. So I invite you to begin with your eyes open and to look and see 5 things that you can see, and just say them to yourself in your head. Tune into your breathing as you gently close your eyes if you're comfortable. Can you hear the sound of your breath? Can you make your breath so soft that you can hear it and no one else can, even if you're alone, obviously no one else can, but that you could hear it, and even if someone else were there, they couldn't hear it. What else can you hear? Listen for 4 more sounds. It might be the humming of the refrigerator. What else can you hear? Were you able to hear things after a few breaths that you couldn't hear in the beginning? Like the sound of a humming, or cars going by, or a street light buzzing on and off, a clock ticking. Those sounds that we are too busy to notice. And let's turn our attention to smell as we continue to breathe in and out. You identify 3 different smells. I think this one's a little hard, I know. And turn your attention to your mouth. Can you taste the saliva? Can you taste anything else? See if you can identify 2 tastes or 2 sensations that are connected to taste. And the last sense is touch. We think of touch with our hands and our fingers, but we can use our whole body. So whatever seat you're seated in, can you feel the weight of your tush and your thighs on the chair? If your hands are touching your siddur or a tabletop or a placemat, can you feel that sensation? Can you feel your feet on the ground, your soles of your feet rooted into the ground? If you're leaning against the back of a chair, can you feel that sensation on your back? Or feel the clothes on your body or jewelry? Allow yourself to feel the things that we've trained ourselves to ignore. On this Shabbat, can you be fully present in breath, in body, in mind, and spirit, so that you too can stand at Sinai as one of the 600,000 and receive the Torah? Nachamu, Nachamu, Ani Yomar Elohim, Nachamu, Nachamu, Ani Yomar Elohim. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle to take care of one another. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle with this world. Nachamu, 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 Nachamu. Ani Yomar Elohim, Nachamu, Nachamu, Nachamu. Ani Yomar Elohim. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle to take care of one another. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle with this world. Nachamu, 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 Nachamu. Ani Yomar Elohim, Nachamu, Nachamu. Ami Yomar Elohim. Thank you, Cantor, for sharing that prayer of comfort with us, something we all need, especially this week. It's been a long week, starting last Shabbat with the hostage taking in Coleyville, Texas. I don't know about you, but I've certainly heard of Dallas. I had never heard of Coleyville, Texas. And I don't think I'm alone in that for our East Coast friends, at least. And we are feeling so many emotions since after what happened. I've heard them expressed and I have felt so many of them myself. Fear, sadness, rage, pride, love, compassion, and anger. And they keep circulating. It was scary. And when things like this happen, we run the risk of slipping into darkness. We might feel hopeless and unable to see the light. We could feel fear that someone would want to do something. In this case, it was a good thing, have a friend released from prison, but that they would take hostages to do so. And that's the world we're living in. That's scary. I feel incredulity that people actually believe that Jews rule the world. And that if you enter a synagogue, that rabbi is going to know all the other Jews and be able to get your friend out of prison through a call to the White House. Huh? I feel sadness and rage that anti-Semitism still exists. But at the same time, this is countered by hope that people of all faiths and of no faith spoke out in support of the Jews being held captive, that Muslims and Christians and Jews and community members came together to help, to make a difference. I felt pain that a rabbinic colleague and his congregants had to go through this harrowing ordeal. And while I don't know him personally, I have good friends who know him, went to high school with him, went to rabbinical school with him. So the world's always closer than we think. I felt pride that law enforcement and the FBI jumped into action, and hope that prayer vigils were organized within hours. And I also felt confusion that if a hostage situation could occur in Coleyville, it could occur anywhere. These incidents are so random. Of course, this scares me a bit, but I don't live my life in fear. I feel comfortable, truly I do, that once we've done our best to have security guards and security systems in place, that our doors are locked, that our proper protocols are being followed, that we should just go about our lives, because we can't predict the actual crazy that will happen in this world. I have an example that was not a terrorist attack. I repeat, it was not a terrorist attack. But about 7 or 8 years ago, a man was driving north on Bagatelle Road. I know you're not all right here, but right outside this window, going that way, which is the far side of the road. And I don't know if he fell asleep, if he lost control of the car somehow. It was early in the morning. He was probably going fast, maybe to go to work or something, and he lost control. He flew across the South Bend lane, did not get hit by a car, through a line of arborvitae trees, over our patio that's out there, and through the temple into a brick wall. He mercifully was okay, and the truck crashed right between the pizza oven and the grill station, not hitting a gas line or anything that could go poof. It was very, very, very scary at the time. And of course, initially, we did not know that it was an innocent accident, that it wasn't something more nefarious. But what struck me, and this is the part you're supposed to find comfort in, it was not on the list. It was not on the list of things that when we sat and strategized for hundreds of hours and hundreds of meetings, or at least it felt like hundreds of meetings, about everything that could go right or wrong, and where we needed security, and where we need to put concrete barriers, and what doors have to be locked, and where we need cameras, and what kind of guards we should hire, and where people could enter the building, and what might happen, and what are the escape routes, which we've done, all of that. It never came up that a truck would crash through a brick wall on the side of the building that had no entryway. Okay, I know this could be disconcerting, but I actually found that comforting. I find the randomness of life comforting. We can worry and worry about everything that can go wrong. But I have learned, as I imagine you have too, that those are rarely the things that do go wrong. So my philosophy is, why worry? It will be misplaced anyway. And there's really nothing to worry about until something happens. And then you probably should worry a little bit or fix it. I realize not everyone's brain works the way mine does, but I think this perspective is helpful. Another example. The handsome Rabbi Moskowitz went to a CCAR, a Reform Rabbis Conference in Israel, in 2002. It was the first week in March, and it turned out to be the height of the Second Intifada. It crested in terrible things happening close together, and then it actually got better after that and dissipated. It was the week that Saturday night, the Moment Cafe was bombed. If the conference hadn't been in town, a lot of HUC students would have been at the Moment Cafe that Saturday night. That was one of the places they hung out. But instead, they are at a dinner at a hotel where the conference is being held. Steve knew he was going to Israel at a difficult time. He chose to go in solidarity with Israel. And I like to say, I chose to have solidarity with Israel by letting him go and staying home and taking care of our young children. That same week, here on Long Island, a tragedy occurred. A doctor was driving home from Mount Sinai Hospital, and something flies off an overpass and impales him. Some of people in our community know him. Unfortunately, he died. This was a road he had driven on every single day. It wasn't a dangerous activity. It was a part of his daily routine. As a matter of fact, it was the LIE, a road many of us drive on, and a road that my husband had been in a car accident that year, a little earlier in the year, where he walked away okay, but the car was totaled. And it was traumatic in the moment, of course. This horror of the doctor dying had this calming effect on me, that life is random, that where Steve was, we knew he was potentially in some danger and he was doing things to protect himself. I actually, in other times when I've been in Israel, have felt safer there, knowing that I was more vigilant, that everyone there is more vigilant, that there are procedures in place, that many people are soldiers. Here we just assume nothing's going to happen, so we're not actually as alert. So it had this calming effect on me. I stopped irrationally worrying. I still worried, but not in an obsessive way, about Steve in Jerusalem, and just prayed that he would be lucky and out of harm's way. Life is random. You should worry when there is something to worry about, and take reasonable measures to prevent bad things from occurring. But then you have to live your life. Come to synagogue, be supportive, travel, drive a car, or if it's your thing, go skydiving. Take reasonable, which is different for everyone, risks. We have a finite amount of time on earth. Make the most of it. If COVID keeps you from interacting the way you want to, find new ways to connect and interact with people. If fear overwhelms you, get counseling. Find strategies that work for you. Lead from your heart with appreciation and gratitude. While I still feel a range of emotions about what happened in Colleyville, I choose to focus on gratitude. That the hostages got out alive and not physically harmed. I am thankful that there is security training and that some of the hostages knew what to do, and that we have wonderful dedicated guards here at Temple Beth Torah. I choose to focus on pride in my colleague, Rabbi Charlie Citron-Walker. And I choose to focus on love, that the whole country rallied to support this small synagogue in Texas and to be indignant about anti-Semitism. We are a community here, and we can be here to support each other during trying times, to help each other to see the light, even when things feel dark. Let us lift each other up together. Can you hear that song? We turn now to page 586, and we rise for the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teitz gdula yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu b'goyei haratzon, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'kol aleinu k'kol hamonam. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני המלך hahu, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad.
We turn to page 586 we turn to page 598 for the Mourner's Kaddish. And we offer these prayers in particular this evening for Marcia Patron, sister of Jonathan Spielman, for whom we're in a period of Aninut. For Ellen Kaplan, mother of Debbie Garnock. For Kathy Quattrochi, cousin of Michael Eisner. For Alvin Putterman, father of Jeffrey Putterman. For Leonard Feldman, father of Jody Bassett. For Elliot Beer, friend of Gail and Rich Brown. For Irene Haber, mother of David Haber. For Gary Friedenberg, father of Joanne Berman and Stephen Friedenberg. For Phyllis Ryan, grandmother of Lauren Finkelstein. And for Lloyd Ziegler, father of Beth Glorioso. May their all of whom we are in the period of Shloshim, the month of mourning. And then we add to their memories those whose yahrzeits fall at this season. Rose Augustine, Daniel Bark, Sheldon Bark, Ellen Beige, David Joshua Berg, Faggy Budnick, Nathan Dreyer, Marilyn Aaron, Jack Erdman, Louis Fishbein, Melvin Fogel, Joanne Franklin, Bernice Golden, Nettie Gornstein, Joy Gold William, Douglas S. Horn, Renee Kerwin, Amy Kirstein, Helene Cohn Epstein, Marvin Krumholtz, Marilyn Levenhard, Norman Lieberman, Stanley J. Mallon, Gladys Manis, Morton Miller, Nathan R. Newman, Myrna Pittman, Ted Kobener, Rose Reich, Helen Rochester, Mitchell Rose, Lillian Schanzer, Jane Schneid, Ann Skolnick, Lillian Schulman, Sheila Taylor, and Jacob Weinstein. Zikronam Lebracha, may their memories be for a blessing as we join together. Yitkadal Yikadash Shemei Rava, Yama Dibra Hirite Yamlich Mapute, V'chayechon V'yomechon V'chayei D'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agalar Bizman Karid V'imru Amin. Yehei Shmei Rava V'vorach Le'olam Umei Omaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yipa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh. V'yitadar V'yitalel V'yitalal Shmei D'Kudasham B'riru. Leila Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbachata V'nechamata Daviran V'yama V'imru Amin. Yeshlamei Shlama Rava Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom V'imruma V'yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael V'imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. We remain standing as we turn now to the Kiddush on page 122, 123, and we invite Parker to come back to the bima all the way up here. This time you include Dad Michael, and Michael, if you could grab the Kiddush cup on your ready. Well, good.
Heaven and the earth were finished and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing. And God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Ore peri hagafes. Merkatanai Elohim melech haolam. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. V'shavach kodsho be'ahava u'ratzeh. Ki filanu zikaron le'maaseh v'reishu. Ki yom tehillah le'mikra el kodesh. Zeh yitzias Yisrael. Ki banu ra'ata ye'otanu kirashta. Mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodesh ve'ahava u'ratzon yikatanu barakata Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat.
Amen. L'chaim. All right. Did we go for the wine?
Yep.
The whole conversation. I'd like you to take the Kiddush cup and place it back, and we'll see you right after. And you stay up here, Parker and Dr. Monroe. That would and Dr. Goldstein is going to present some goodies from the congregation.
It is my pleasure and honor to stand on the beam with you here and present you with your gifts for your bar mitzvah. So firstly, I want to say that, as the rabbi said, and the 600,000 that will receive the Torah that day, you are receiving the Torah. You should be in the moment and take it all in. It's a big deal. I know it didn't work out exactly as you had planned, but you got a big steak dinner coming your way. So be thankful for that. So there are some beautiful gifts. The Kiddush cup you just used, it's from the Brotherhood and Sisterhood. May you use that in many simchas and mitzvahs down the road. There's a beautiful certificate of bar mitzvah. Pretty sweet. You can display that somewhere in the home. And that represents all the hard work coming to this day. And it is work. It's a lot of work. You should be proud of yourself. We also have a gift certificate for a one-year team membership to the Suffolk JCC. And we also have a $250 gift certificate for a team trip to Israel. Hopefully you can take advantage of that one day. So mazel tov to you and to the Eisners, and you're killing it tomorrow, right? You got this.
Yes. All right. Please be seated. We turn now to page 371 as our thoughts turn to those who are in need of healing. And please remember, you can accept these prayers for yourself as well as we can all use a little bit of healing. I'd like to offer prayers for Maggie Farkas, for Miriam Hirsch, for Elliot Levenhart, for Albert Coleman, Father Stacy Becker, for Lauren Finkelstein, for Malka Gerlitz, friend of Robin Fardman, for David Berger, friend of Dana Block, for Stan and Barbara Selps, father and mother of Beth Silverman, for Ronnie Pinkowitz, for John Newberger, uncle of Marshall Stein, for Alan Plass, brother of Richard Plass, for Ben Hirsch, son of Miriam Hirsch, for Paul Scheinkoff, and his brother and sister-in-law, Mark and Olivia, for all those on our Mission Bayrock list, and for all those whom you're holding in your hearts. Does anyone here have someone they'd like to add for special prayers this week? We have anyone to add?
Ben Hirsch,
Got him.
Kara Parker, Richard York, Barb Friedman, Elvira Picasa, and Brian Dubinski.
Thank you. And of course, anyone you're holding in your hearts. Let us pray. Mi shebeiro avotinu
Mekor Avraham, may the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishebeirach imotenu, Mekor Avraham, Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Amen va'amen. A refuah shlema. Refuah hanefesh, refuah haguf, the healing of soul, the healing of body. And we say, Amen. We turn now to Simchas. Hold on a second here. Any birthdays or anniversaries in January? Yours? When?
The 25th.
Oh, I think we should wish you a happy birthday. Stand up. Parker Eisner, happy birthday.
David also,
David Eisner, happy birthday.
January 14th.
Oh, so that's great. And let me look on my little list here. Been sharing on the Zoom. Sammy Spielman was this past week. I don't know what today is, the 21st? 21st. Who else here that I might have seen on our call? Seth Lieberman, happy birthday. I don't know if Ellen Rodas is there or the Poviner family, Scott Poviner is this week. Lots of nice people. Monty Fogel, I know, I'm trying to think of people who had a yard site that might be here. Rabbi Elberg. So happy birthday. Oh, there you are, Parker, you're on the list. And happy birthday. So we're going to sing Yom Haledet Sameach. 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 And many more. If I don't see you next week, Jamie Miller, happy, happy birthday. I may have asked for you special blessings. So please wish Jamie a happy birthday too. And we'll get the rest of you later in the month. Good thing. So it is my honor to invite Brian Goldstein, our wonderful temple president, back, and the food. I don't know which is more important. The food, the temple president. To join us and share with some upcoming events.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom all that are here and on Zoom. And Mazel Tov to Parker and the Eisners. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And then June, you get to be great again. And Mazel Tov and happy birthdays all around. I want to thank the clergy. First, I want to thank actually our security for keeping us safe. And I want to thank the clergy for everything they do, but also for their courage, just doing what they do. Because we know that we're potentially vulnerable all the time. And they do their job without that running through their head all the time. So, I really there's a lot going on. Something for everybody. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., Shabbat Torah study. Sunday, there's a bunch of things. One is the blood drive. There's still time to sign up. There is a massive blood shortage in our country and worldwide because of the pandemic. So if you're somebody that donates, or if it's something interesting to you, please join us. We always do a great job, but it's needed more than ever now. And that's pretty much all day on Sunday here. 9:30 a.m. there's a B'nai Mitzvah seminar. 12:15 there's a confirmation class, and 2 o'clock there's budding friendships. That's all on Sunday. Monday night there's a board of trustees meeting. Tuesday the 25th, Jewish tangents in the morning. Friday the 28th, in the morning there's Torah yoga. There is a Shabbat dinner that is a take-home. Services are going to be on Zoom only at 6:30 for our third graders. For the dinner, for all levels above sustaining membership, it's provided complimentary, and for new members and everybody else, it's $18, I believe. And it's pick up at Temple, bring home, and we all eat together apart. Wednesday, February 2nd at midday, 12:30 actually, is a village event, which is our partnership with Dix Hills Jewish Center for our over 60 community. It will be a workshop, Zentangles, provided by our own Rabbi Moskowitz. If you don't know what Zentangles is, and it's intriguing, then check the website and see if it's something you want to be interested in. And then there is a religious school fundraiser at Cantor. Also check the emails and the website for details on that. That's Wednesday, February 2nd. February 4th, there's a Tot Shabbat at 5:30. That's going to be Zoom only. Services will hopefully be in person that night at 6:30. Also available on Zoom, obviously. Then a couple of things a little more distant, as Rabbi mentioned and Cantor echoed. Beauty and the Beast is going to be at Candlewood, February 11th and 12th. If you have not yet purchased tickets, you want to watch this. It's a really talented cast. It's getting better every day. We still have 3 weeks from tonight till opening night. Our Cantor, our rabbis are in it. I'm in it. And everybody is having fun. It is going to be a wonderful show. It's really something you want to watch. Sunday, March 6th is a breakfast run. So we've done this a number of years as a midnight run, where we actually go, the midnight run is the organization. We bring clothing, coats, food to homeless in New York City at certain locations. And we actually provide it, give it to them directly. We're doing it, flipping it a little bit. That's going to be a breakfast run this year on Sunday, March 6th at 7:15 a.m. A couple of other things. The sharing table always needs donation and volunteers, specifically breakfast cereal, cleaning supplies, toilet paper, diapers, toiletries, deodorant, feminine hygiene products. And apparently white rice is a hot ticket item. It goes quickly, so we need a lot of white rice. The anybody that's here can see on their way out. If they didn't see on their way in, we have installed a new, beautiful interactive memorial board, thanks to the Rabbi family and Mishpacha. And it is, check your emails, check for the flyer. There's going to be a video put out for it. Without going into great detail, it's going to supplement what we have as the memorial plaques that are in our sanctuary. They're going to be now digital plaques. These are going to stay, but they're going to also exist as digital plaques, plus an opportunity to create a story and a bio about your departed loved ones with some pictures. It's beautiful. It's going to be accessible remotely. You can get it from our website, and you can scroll through and see what it looks like in the lobby. So anybody that joins us at the temple at any point, please look at that. I believe that covers it. Shabbat Shalom to all, and again, Mazel Tov to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Goldstein. And I am closing with one of my favorites of the contemporary Jewish repertoire. It's called Olam Chesed Yivaneh, which translates sort of to I will For we will build this world from love.
And Olam chesed yibaneh. 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 I will build this world from love. I will build this world from love. You must build this world from love. You must build this world from love. If we build this world from love. And if we build this world from love. God will build this world from love. Then God will build this world from love. Olam chesed yibaneh. Olam chesed Please rise. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, our God and God of our mothers and fathers. Please protect us, shelter us under your wings, and guide us to live glorious lives to honor you. Let us say, Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.